Hey everybody. Hello, hello. Hope everyone is having a fantastic Saturday morning. We're getting together a little earlier today, and I think that's all right. Had some plans going on later, so I figured instead of canceling, we'll just push it up a little bit. No big deal. So I hope everyone is off to a great start. I know we've got some friends in the chats. We have Catherine Pooler here. That's really, really exciting. Hello and good morning, Catherine Pooler, to you and your team. Thank you for being here. We've got Liz from San Diego. Ugh, you know, I'm such a sucker for San Diego. I do love the West Coast, the Southwest Coast. Oh, it's wonderful. And we've got Lisa here. Hello. Texas, I hope you're having some good weather. And we've got Kristen. Thanks for joining early. I know, Kristen, you've been here almost every single week, if not all the weeks. So I appreciate you being here early. We've got Lynn. Good morning. Hope you've gotten some good weather out in Raleigh. It is. I know. You know how they talk about golden hour, when it's like when the sun is setting, the sky is pretty, and like photographers talk about it like it's really good for like their photos, and they have certain photo sessions. I have like golden hour is like Saturday mornings in my craft studio because I have like the most perfect lighting. I wish I was at home that I could do this with you guys like all the time on Saturday, because it's just my den, which is where my studio is just so perfectly lit up. And my goodness. We've got, Central Texas from Laura. Hello. And Kathy from Portland, Oregon. Cloudy, but it's going to be a scorcher, probably 75. LOL. It's warmer than what it is here. It's pretty chilly out here in the Chicago area. So thank you all so very much for being here today. I hope that you have maybe something crafty or creative planned today, or maybe you're getting ready to work on a project, whatever it may be. But I am so excited today because I am playing with a brand new tool. And this brand new tool is called the Print and Pattern tool. And it's from the Catherine Pooler designer line for Sizzix. And it is a really, really neat tool. And I'm going to check something really quickly on my phone because I checked it like an hour ago and we were still good with it. So I'm going to keep talking as I'm looking. See, this is what I love about being able to like not use my phone for live streams. If I need to jump on my phone to do something, I can really quickly. So we're going to do that. I just wanted to check. So I had checked earlier today because I saw last night there was a message, and yes, it is still available. Okay, so this is very exciting. The print and pattern tool was sold out. It was not available. It was sold out on the Catherine Pooler website. No more, no nothing. I didn't have an update as to when it was going to become available. But last night, right before I went to bed, I saw Catherine Pooler had posted an Instagram post, or rather it was a story, that they had found a small box of them. So they have restocked on the website. So they are still currently available. So if you guys are inspired today, they are available. You're also able to purchase them as a bundle with the Stamp and Stencil tool as well. I believe you save $10 that way, so that's pretty exciting. So this tool is still available. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip down so we can look at this tool so I can kind of explain how it works, and then we are going to make a card together. So let's go ahead and flip this over. All right. And let's see if I can zoom out just a little. No, I can't zoom out anymore, but that's okay. Excuse me. So this is the new Stamp and Stencil tool. It is the arm, and it actually detaches from your Stamp and Stencil tool. So the Print and Pattern tool, this is an arm that's going to go on just like this, and it connects like this, and it's like a stamping platform that can move like an XY grid. So you can move it up, you can move it down, and you can move it from side to side. And it is really, really neat. It makes the guesswork removed from when you want to make your own custom patterns. And what's also wonderful is that Catherine Pooler and Sizzix have come up with a line of coordinating products that work perfectly with this. So we're going to be playing around with a little bit of that today. Now let me go ahead and grab, let me see where I put it. Now, one thing that's really nice, so if you have the Stamp and Stencil tool, the Print and Pattern tool will go just on top of it, and the Print and Pattern tool does come with like a starter stamp set and a stencil set. And let me show you. We're not going to be using them today, but I just wanted to show you all. So it comes with this starter stamp set, and you're able to use this with the coordinating stencils I apologize. Oh, just to kind of coordinate these together. And you can ink blend, you can stamp. I have the stamping attachment put on right now because we're going to be doing a lot of stamping today. But there is also a second attachment, and you can just easily swap this out. Let me show you. You just kind of take it out like that, and then you just replace it using the stencil arm, and then this has got the different items that you can use to attach stencils. And instead of stamping, you can use the same process with the coordinating stencils to stencil your patterns. It's really fun. It's really versatile. It really makes your crafting easier, less guesswork, and more fun. So we're going to be playing around today with the stamp platform version of it. And I'm going to give you a couple tips and tricks along the way as to how I use this, just because I think that there are some fun ways that you can really adapt this into more crafting and to really kind of stretch your stash. So I'm going to put the stamping arm on. Now, one thing that's kind of interesting, and I don't know if you've noticed, so this tool, I've attached it, but it's kind of off to the left. I know my face is kind of covering it, so let me bring it down a little bit. So I can attach it and I can have it fit perfectly on if I want to. However, I don't really do that because there's not going to be a lot of images that I'm going to stamp off to the side. Catherine Pooler says they have 5 in stock right now. So if you guys have been waiting, if it's been on your wish list, I've got it linked below for the Catherine Pooler site. Make sure to grab yours before they sell out. I don't know when the next batch of them are going to be coming in. But you can always, if they do sell out, you can set up a notify me when it's available. So that's always an option as well. These will be back. It's just, if it's been on your wish list and you missed that initial blast of them, there are still a couple available. So what you can do with this is you can actually let it kind of be offset, and we can kind of put it like this. And that way, I'm going to do one more over. And that way it gives me a little bit more room that I can actually stamp on like a full sheet of paper. So there we go. So you're able to kind of make it work however you want it to. And like I said, it goes left and right and up and down. So really, really exciting. Now, what I am going to recommend first is my first tip when using the print and pattern tool is you're able to, on your Stamp and Stencil platform, you're able to put a full 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. Do it. Do it because you're going to have more room to play with, and then you're going to be able to really sort of play around with those scraps, and then you can also pick which portion of your stenciled area or your stamped area that you want to play with. So I think that that's my first major tip. So I'm going to remove my protecting sheet. Now, one thing we're not going to do today is we're not going to judge how dirty my platform is. I need to get a couple replacement sheets. So while my sticky mat might not be fully camera ready, it is ready to craft with us today. So I think that's really exciting. So let's just check in with the chat really quickly. Oh my goodness, we've got so many friends. We've got Lee, we've got more comments from Lisa, we've got Sina, we've got Liz. Thank you all so very much for being here today. Now I'm going to pull in my Catherine Pooler favorite white cardstock, our favorite cardstock in white, and we're going to use this and just put the full grid down, or full 8.5 by 11 sheet. Now, I definitely think that investing in the favorite white cardstock, if you love your Catherine Pooler inks, is really important because this paper is designed to work with Catherine Pooler inks. Not that Catherine Pooler inks won't work with other papers, but this one is optimized for it. So I really like the favorite cardstock in white for my stamping. And with what we're going to be doing today with the print and pattern tool, you're definitely going to want to have a full sheet on there as opposed to a smaller size. So what we're going to do is we are going to start, and I have decided that I want to use the new, this is the, let me see, it is called the, and I always forget where the name of it is. It is the Print and Patterns Birds and Blooms. So it's got these adorable little birds. I call them lovebirds because they kind of like are like kissy, or they're like angry with each other. You can pick whichever one you want to use. We're going to use both today. We've got someone from Missouri. Hello, Brian. Hope you're having a great day. Lynn, this is really going to make making your own pattern paper so easy. So I'm really excited to see what you guys are going to do with this. So we're going to take out this stamp set. And it's what I love is whenever the Catherine Pooler has their line with Sizzix, they come in these really nice envelopes, which is perfect for storage solutions. Nice quality, really sort of heavyweight. And what we're going to do is I'm going to call them the kissy birds first, because they're kind of they're like facing each other. And I am going to position them so that they're kind of in the center of that circle, just like this. And I want to make sure that they're level, so I might kind of fiddle with it a little bit. Just a little bit. Oh, thank you so much for being here, Brang. I appreciate it. Just kind of move it down just a wee bit. Now, what's nice to know, though, is because of how this tool works, your image can really be anywhere on your block, and it's going to stamp the same. So like if it's offset, if it's not perfect, that's fine. I'm going to pull this to the side just to make sure. I think that's pretty good. So we're pretty good to go. And what we're going to do is I actually have pulled 15 inks today. And I know that sounds like a lot, but let's look at it the other way, because originally I had 24 inks pulled today and we narrowed it down. So I'm happy to report that at least we're working with less ink, so it's a little less overwhelming. And what we're going to do is I'm going to kind of do a rainbow. And when I say kind of, I did have to make a sacrifice, and that is unfortunately the color of purple. But don't worry, purple will make its way into our project later on. Hello, Misty. Thanks for stopping on. And what we're going to start with is we're going to start with our red inks. And I'm going to start by using the It's a Girl ink. And so I am going to stamp this out first. And I'm going to try my best to use this in like a portrait orientation while on camera with y'all, but I've actually found it's easier for me if I tilt it or rotate it about 90 degrees to the left. So I might rotate it, we'll see. All right, so we're gonna stamp this. All right, so I've got that all stamped out. Let's see. Here's my second tip that I want to share when using the print and pattern tool. So you know how when you stamp with your colored inks, the more times you stamp it, the more saturated the ink color is? That's really important to remember when using this tool, because if you want something to look like a pattern, you want to make sure that each time you impress that image with ink onto your paper, you're doing it about the same amount of times to account for the saturation and consistency. Now, maybe your pattern is you want to stamp this once, move it over, stamp it twice, move it over, stamp it 3 times. And if that's what you want to do, no big deal, whatever works for you. I'm just saying that for me, I've stamped it once, and I'm going to try moving forward to only stamp it once. Now, I did count, and this is about, I think it's 4 imprints. So I went from 4 to 8, and then see how I'm going to be able to stamp this a second time and have it all lined up. It's going to be perfect. So we're going to stamp this out just like that. And you want to make sure to get as best of ink coverage as you can. And this is why it's better. I'll show you guys in a second why I like to work with it rotated, but I just know on camera it's not the best. So we're going to stamp this, just sort of hold it down, let it set. 24 inks. I know. I wanted to do 6 colors, 6 color families, and 4 colors each. I ended up omitting one of them because I realized you really wouldn't be able to see it that much. And then I realized I only needed 3 inks per color family, not 4. So I was really able to kind of put it down a little bit. You know what? Now I'm looking at this. It's a little, I think we're okay. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm now realizing that I have to move this because I didn't set it over enough, but this is okay. So now it's going to be on 6. And I'm going to fix this for in the future. I know exactly what I'm going to do. All right. And we're going to stamp just like this. So we got 1, 2, 3. Ooh, that one's going to need a little bit more ink. Ah, there we go. Okay, perfect. So now what I want to do is when I mapped this out earlier, it was on 9. And 9 is the number that I need on the far end. So I think it's going to go, let's see. Oh, did I screw it up? Maybe 10 is going to be the number. I just got to move it to make sure that we're all good to go. 10 is the number. Okay, so I'm going to have 10. And now what we're going to do is we're going to move this back to our starting position, which is going to be 2. And then I'm going to move it down to 4, actually. So if I move it down 2, I'm able to stamp, but we're actually going to change it up. So we're going to go down to 5. And I'm going to stamp this again for the second time. And what we're going to do is we're going to move on to our next set of colors, which are yellows. And I'm going to start by stamping out Chiffon. But I do want to do a little bit of cleaning just to make sure to prevent any color cross-contamination. So I'm going to go in and we're going to use, this is Chiffon ink. And I'm going to ink my pad. This is not what I'm going for. I am going to ink my stamp with my pad. And then we're going to stamp this down. So this is on setting 2 for the horizontal and 5 for the vertical. Now remember, we've got to move it over 4. So we're going to go to 6. And we're going to keep it at 5. So we're going to stamp again, just like this. We're really going to see today which of my ink pads need to be refilled in a spot A, right? Okay, so I've got this all stamped, and then I've got to move it one more time, and it's going to go from 6 to 10. Just like this. Now, one thing that I always like to mention about when stamping with Catherine Pooler inks is there's almost a smoothing property associated with them. So when you first stamp them, if parts of your image may look slightly blotchy, chances are it's going to smooth itself out after it dries for a little bit. So I never panic on my first impression. Ooh, my phone just went off. Who's that? Buffalo Wild Wings. I wonder what special they got today. All right. All right, now we're done with our chiffon. And I'm going to cycle this to the bottom of that pile. And now we're going to do kind of a clean and a reset. So this is going to go back to 2. And then this is going to go down to 9. Yes. And then we're going to stamp a little bit of dirt. And then we're going to move on to a blue color. And we're going to do blue raspberry. I've always liked yellow, but this year I've become obsessed with it. This yellow is gorgeous. It is such a good yellow, Leela. The Catherine Pooler yellows are really good. What I love about Catherine Pooler, which I feel like maybe we don't see as much with other ink lines, there are a lot of yellows. And that's wonderful because you have options to pick from. You have different shades. I love the Catherine Pooler yellow ink, so I'm glad to hear that you like them too. All right. This one. So now one thing with our Catherine Pooler ink pads is if you're working, because I'm working with blue raspberry, which is the lightest blue, sometimes those light colors, when you get them, those ink pads are super saturated with ink, which is so wonderful because that means it's just ready to go. But I have found that sometimes I just stamp off a little bit of that excess ink, just kind of pad to my glass mat, and that sort of conditions the ink pad a little bit better for me. So if you're having that sort of struggle, that'll work with it. Now I'm going to stamp out my blue raspberry. Now while we're talking about stamping off on our glass mat, so today is International Scrapbooking Day, which I think is wonderful. I'm not a scrapbooker myself, but I am for any day that promotes arts and crafts. And I'm going to move this to 6. And what I love about International Scrapbooking Day for all of us is that a lot of our favorite companies have some sales going on. One of them is Glassboard Studio. And right now, my promo code, which is just my first name, Justin, will get you 20% off your total purchase on their website. And I believe it's through tomorrow. I know it's today for sure. But if you've been eyeing a glass mat like what I'm using, it's definitely a great opportunity to go and snag one. Whew, there we go. All right, and we're gonna move this over to 10. Isn't this fun? We're just sort of sitting and chatting and stamping, just doing the fun stuff, right? And we'll stamp it just like that. All right. Perfect. All right, so we've got our first go of our birds all ready to go. And these are our love birds, our kissy birds, whatever we want to call them. But now we're going to actually switch. I'm going to take my stamp off and I'm going to put it away. And we're going to move on and we're going to use those not so kissy birds, the angrier birds, or the mad birds, whatever we want to call them, right? And I'm going to reset. So I'm going to take this back to 2. And then I want to line this stamp up so it's kind of between, just like that. It's, you know what? It is a very precise tool, and I think that's what makes it so wonderful, is when you're stamping patterns like this, it makes it exact, because you kind of want that exact quality when you're using a tool like this, just to make sure everything is lining up appropriately. So yes, there's definitely an exactness to it, but what I love about this is you play with it and you find what sort of exactness works for you, because it might not be the same for everybody. Now we're going to move on. We've got our mad birds, or our angry birds, and we're going to move on with some creamsicle. And we're going to stamp this out. I love this creamsicle color. I also struggle that every once in a while I call it dreamsicle, which I think is okay. You know, I mean, I just love that these stamps and these ink pads have such fun names. So I've repositioned it on the horizontal arm to be at 6. And we're going to ink up our stamp and stamp it again, just like that. And then we're going to move it to 10. And we're going to ink up our stamp and stamp it again. And you're really going to find with the print and pattern tool that you are going to be able to fall into a groove, that you're going to be able to just sort of like, okay, like I know I got to move this forward. It's going to go from 2 to 6 to 10. And then I'm going to bop it down from 2 to 6 to 10. And you can just keep going. So keep in mind that when I do a live stream, I'm trying to like talk through the whole process. So it takes more time, which is fine. So I'm going to go ahead. So I've got it at 3. I believe I have to move it down to 7 next. Let's just make sure. And you can kind of map it out. Perfect. And then I'm going to put my creamsicle away. I wish I had an actual creamsicle right now. What do y'all think? And then we're going to move on to Melon Ice. And so I'm going to do a quick little wipe of our stamp just to make sure it's nice and clean. And then I'm going to take that Melon Ice and just sort of stamp like that. And then stamp it down. Perfect. All right, and then it's going to go up and over to 6. Let's ink it again. Just like that. Stamp it down. Awesome. And then over to 10. 1, 2, 3. Like that. And stamp it down. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different colors. This is so fun. I think you guys are really going to love this tool. All right, so now that we've got our colors, I'm going to clean this off. And then we're going to start by stamping a second pattern. And now all of these birds have little wings. So we're going to do the wings as well. So let me see. Let's start with the lovey birds. And like I said, this just takes time. And it's just, that's what a lot of today's live is going to be, is just sort of talking about what we're making and going through the process of it. So our cards that we'll be making, because I do have 2 planned, are not going to be super detailed, but because of all the effort we put into the stamping, it's going to still be super fun because we're using all of these amazing colors. All right, so I'm going to pick this up. These inks are so good. There are so many fantastic colors, really, you guys. So now, since we're going on top of this It's a Girl, we're going to go in with some Party Dress, which is the next color. Now, one thing, and I didn't grab it, but I do have one handy. I actually just printed out an updated copy. Catherine Pooler does have a color wheel that you can purchase. No, let me rephrase that. You can add it to your cart and check out with it, but it's free. And what it is it's a free download that you're able to sort of map out all of your colors and what colors coordinate with what. And then you're also able to die cut some circles out that you can use for like color matching, where you can see what colors coordinate with one another if you're going to do like a 3-color palette or a 4-color palette, or what colors on the wheel are opposite. So really exciting. She has them for both the party and the spa collection. There isn't one for neutrals because neutrals don't really operate with the color wheel, but that's okay. All right, so we're going to stamp this down with the party dress. And then let's go to 10. Aren't these birds so cute, you guys? I just love these blooms and birds. Oh my goodness. And there's also some really great florals in this set as well if you wanted to stamp a flower background. All right, just like that. All right, that one went up a little bit because I didn't catch it, but that's okay. That is a-okay. It happens. I don't even know how much of that image we're going to use, and that's okay. Mistakes happen, right? Okay, so now we're going to go in. Let's move. All right, so I keep on trying to cycle my colors off camera, and I'm so sorry. You can see the arm just kind of sticking straight up, so my apologies for that. So we're going to move back to 2, and then we're going to go down to 5, and then we're going to stamp our next yellow, and this is going to be Limoncello, just like that. And I'm going to stamp and move it over 4. The Partridge Family, and that's funny. I never watched that show. I think I aged out of it, unfortunately, but I know a lot of people have talked about it. Stamp up over 4. Stamp up and reset. So like I said, you really start to fall into the pattern of how this all is going to work. Like I said, trying to cycle my colors so it's easier for me to pull moving forward. All right. Next, let's go down. It's going to be starting at 9. And we're going to take that Oh Boy coloring or ink pad. Oop, see, I didn't clean off that pad all the way. That's okay. Mistakes, they do happen. And we're going to ink. And up over 4. I'm trying really hard to not accidentally drop my ink pad. Oh my goodness. Catastrophe, y'all. Stamp. Up over 4. Up and reset. So just literally making a pattern for yourself, just kind of talk yourself through it and whatever works best. And that's just how it's going to work. So like I said, I know this is super repetitive and we've got a little bit more stamping to go, and that's okay. And we're going to swap this out. We're going to do the second set of wings. And that's going to be this set. And it's going to go right here. And now I just got to move this up to, I believe it was 3. And over to 2. and that's okay. You don't have many inks yet. You know what, Cena? Do you know why that's okay? Is because you can layer your inks. So if I wanted to today, I could use the same colors and just sort of overly saturate it. I'm not going to get as much of like a variance of colors, but you can layer your colors that way. But I'm going to go in with some Bellini right now. And we're going to ink, stamp, up, and then over 4. I'm seeing I've got a hair somewhere, probably courtesy of my dog. That's okay. Ink, stamp, up, over 4. Ink, stamp, no song or no sound. Can you guys not hear me? If anyone else can't hear me, let me know. But we should be good, I think, with sound. For Breng, if you're the only one, you could try it refreshing the screen. So we're gonna go down to 7. Thank you so much, Liz. All right, so we're gonna almost dropped all my reds. And now we're gonna go in with Garden Party, which is this color. Thank you, Misty. And thank you, Heather. So we're gonna go in with that Garden Party stamp, up, over 4. Stamp, up, over 4. And y'all, with ink colors, I know some people are popping and saying they only have a couple colors. You can work with whatever you have. Even if you don't have Catherine Pooler inks, whatever your favorite ink brand of choice is, you can use with this tool. So it's not Catherine Pooler exclusive. I'm just using it because the colors kind of all work together for what we're doing today. And plus, Catherine Pooler is one of my favorite brands of ink, so I have the full color line, so it's easy for me to reach and grab. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna clean off that stamp. And now what we're gonna do is there's like half wings that we're gonna do. So I gotta grab the half wings. I'm gonna line that up. Just like this. I was wondering if I'm able to, and I don't know if I'm able to. There's little beads, beaks with eyes, and I was going to try to utilize them with this. Oh, and I think I can. Perfect. Okay, so I'm going to stamp these together, and that's going to really save us some time. 2, and then this is going to be 1, and we're going to pick that up. Perfect. And now I'm going to go in with some Rockin Red. They look like Angry Birds. Thank you for. Oh, you are so welcome, Cena. I'm glad that you're picking up some tips, and I'm glad you like my little like phrases. Maybe that helps if you're using this set. All right, so I'm gonna stamp in my Rockin Red. We're gonna stamp up over 4. It would really be pretty framed, Catherine. I agree. Definitely could put this on a wall. Stamp up over 4. This one might look a little on the wonky side, but that's okay. Mistakes, they do happen. Stamp up. Actually, it kind of slightly corrected it, which is, I mean, not perfectly, but to a point that I'm not mad. All right. Hello under Benita. You always remind us what your name is, and I always like calling you Pile of Papers, which is probably not like the nicest thing to say, but please know it is endearing on my end. All right, so we've got this and we've got it. We'll go ahead and reset it. So we're going to go back over to 2 and we're going to go down to 5. Just, I think like that, right? Did that move? I don't think so. Let me see. I want to make sure that we're good. Ooh, it's got a little bit of red. That's okay. Just make sure it's all lined up. Perfect. All right, now we're going to go in. Now I am going to go in with Tiki Torch, and this is kind of the first time I'm going against color families because Tiki Torch is not necessarily part of the yellows, but yellows are kind of weird, y'all. And not, I mean, I'm not talking about these specific yellows. I'm just talking about yellow in general. And I talk about this a lot when I talk about, I'm going to have to reset this because I kind of screwed that up a little bit. When I talk about my alcohol marker coloring, that yellows are kind of hard for shading purposes because with yellows, you kind of have to go into browns or oranges to get appropriate shading. Now, I apologize, y'all. I kind of second guessed myself and I had a little bit of a flub. That's okay. Just kind of fix that. See, you got to trust the process. I did not fully trust the process. I'm like, wait, I've got to mix something. And I had a little bit of a line. So stamp up, reset. And we're going to look at this one more time when I get to the next line. All right. And we'll reset. All right, so that's Tiki Torch, but I used the Tiki Torch because I thought that it worked nicely as the darkest yellow in this instance. So I am going to fix this really quickly. Like I said, I am just sort of second guessing myself, and I made a modification where I shouldn't have. And so now I just want to make sure we're good to go. For whatever reason, my yellows line maybe was slightly misaligned because I did something, but it happens. I don't stress about it. I just want to try to move forward to correct it so we don't have the issue moving forward again. All right, we're going to go in with 9. And then I'm going to go in with something borrowed. And we're going to stamp. And always remember, there's no blemish that a little embellishment can't cover up, right? So we'll go over. Make sure you get some good full ink coverage. Stamp. Up. Over 4. Just like that. And then we're going to ink. Stamp. Up and reset. All right, we've got our blues done, we've got our yellows and our reds done. All that's left is oranges and greens, and I have to do a little bit of just wiping just to kind of clean off my stamp. All right, there we go. Evidence of handmade. Nancy, I love that. You are onto something. All right. Let's see. Just kind of, I always like to put my stamps away just to kind of keep track of them. And now, what are we doing with our next set? The next set of wings are closer to each other, just like this. And we're going to put them down. I'm trying to my best to line that up. Let's see. I think these should work. I hope. Fingers crossed, y'all. Now we're going to reset. That's okay, Judy. The replay will be available for you later, but we're still crafting along, so I'm glad that you're here. All right, we're going to go in with some orange twist next. Ink stamp up over 4. And now, you know how I keep saying over 4? That's because I know that's how these stamps work. But different stamps you may find need different spacing, and that's okay. So you might not be saying over 4. You might be saying over 2 or over 5. You just kind of got to map it out and figure out what works best for you. All right, we'll stamp this. Perfect. And up. Okay, and now we're going to reset back to 2. I'm going to bring that up for a second. And I'm sure what I did is when I wiped it, that's like I kind of probably nudged the stamps a little bit. Excuse me. And I'm really trying to be careful to not do that again. All right, so we're going to move this down to 7 for the greens, and then we're going to finish out this pattern. Isn't this pretty? I love this stamp set. All right, so we're going to take, this is Lime Rickey. Sorry, I didn't show you the pad color. Just going to kind of go in, stamp, up, over 4, ink. Ooh, unpopular. Not really. Not if it's Buffalo Wild Wings again. Stamp, up, and then over 4. We've got ink, stamp, up, and we're done. Yay! Oh my goodness. This is so cute. Oh my gosh, y'all. This is so cute. Look at this little pattern of these birds. Let me know what's your favorite line of color that we use in the comments. We did reds, orange, yellow, greens, and blues. Let me know what your favorite grouping is. I don't even know if I could pick. I think they're all super cute. I love how the Catherine Pooler inks work this way. My goodness. Really geometric. And that's what's so fun about this. And if I wanted to, I could go in, like there's a little heart, and I could stamp a heart between each line if I wanted to, or a dot. Whatever you want to do would work. And that's how this tool is designed to work. And I just think it's so cool. I love when new, fresh ideas like this hit the industry, and it really sort of stretches our stash. And like I said, you don't have to use this with this new line that came out. You can use any of your existing like silhouette stamps from Catherine Pooler. Those would work perfectly. I was thinking earlier, the Petals and Purrs release that came out 2 months ago. Oh my goodness. Do you know how cute those cats would be in like a stamped pattern like this? I would squeal. I think they would just be so perfect. I'm just trying to multitask and get everything kind of clean the best that I can. And I think I'm doing an okay job. And I'll put this away. All right. So now we're going to pull up our pattern. Let's do a good old thing. Now, Sina, you are right. A lot of time and patience, but it's going to pay off because we're not just going to make one card with this. We're going to make more than one. And I think that that is another great thing with this is that you can kind of do whatever, you can make more than one project because we're using such a large sheet of paper. I also could have continued down and I could have done more. I could have done a line of the purple. I really could have done more with it. I know we didn't. And I am trying to be mindful for time purposes. I'm gonna put my tool away, but just let's ogle at this. Look at this. Isn't this adorable? My goodness, y'all. I love how this looks. Now, what we're also going to do is I'm going to take a paper trimmer right now, and I'm going to kind of trim out these patterns. And so I'm going to kind of move this around just a little bit because we're going to do a little bit of die cutting. Just kind of using my guillotine to trim some bits. Just like this. Oop, don't want to go overboard. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to save some of my larger scraps for later. But here we go. So now what I want to do next is I want to utilize this to make card number 1. And I'm also just realizing I never made card bases for my cards. So we'll do those live today. Aren't they like when you have a get together, all the birds just chit chatting? Now I'm pulling out some stitched rectangle dies from my stash. These are specifically from Pink and Main. You can pull out whatever sort of pattern you would like. And I want to sort of use my die. This is another tip with this tool, and this is really with any pattern paper, is I am going to line this up so that it sort of evenly cuts out all of my little birds so that everything kind of feels nice and evenly spaced. All right, let's see, just like that. I'm going to tack this down just like this. Hopefully this fits through my die cutting plate machine for my machine. We'll see. All right. So now, get my die cutting machine. Oh, please let this fit. It's just I think we'll be okay. I think we're going to be okay. It's going to be tight, but I think we're going to be okay. Just like you're like, I swear.
Someone is at the front door.
It's probably someone selling something too.
Someone is at front door.
In case we didn't hear it the first time. Y'all, I'm so sorry. Oh my goodness. All right, so we've got that. We're going to process it through. And we're going to do it one more time just to make sure we get a good impression. Just like that. All right. And look at this. We've got our little pattern of birds. Isn't this just so cute? Oh my goodness, I love this. This is really true pattern paper. I cannot believe it. This is like the first time I think ever that my doorbell has gone off on a live, y'all. I think it's hysterical. Oh my goodness. You know what? It happens. It is a live stream. Stuff happens. This is my house and not like an official studio. Oh my goodness, but it's okay. All right, so we've got this adorable little pattern of birds, and I just want to do kind of an easy card with this because we put so much time into this background. I don't really want to detract from it. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to pop one of the Noughts and Crosses nested dies on. I've got this one ready to go, and it's got it's the Glam paper. It's got the little bubbles, which I think would be considered the knots. And we're just going to pop a cool sentiment on there from this is the Birthday Sentiments, Prints and Patterns Birthday Sentiment stamp set. And I'm going to do this really scripty happy birthday. All right. And we're going to do it like that, but I got to grab my Misty. Okay. Here we go. Now, like I said, we had to use a little bit of purple to get our rainbow, right? So that's why I'm pulling in the Glam paper. All right, so we're going to kind of center this. I need to figure out if maybe I can set my device onto like a do not disturb or an airplane mode. Maybe that's a thing, like your phones, right? All right. We're going to pick this up with our Misty door. And then let's go in. I've got an embossing anti-static tool. This one's from Tailored Expressions. Sitting here crafting, this is real life. You guys are so wonderful. Thank you. I don't know. You never know. And it's also too, I'm sitting here, I'm like, it's probably somebody like wanting to do a roof inspection or something. Not that I need one, but I've been getting a lot of phone calls about it recently. All right, so we're gonna pick that up. I'm just gonna sort of wipe it off. And then I am gonna use, I've got a Pink and Main watermark ink pad. And we're just gonna stamp this out. This is a brand new one. One re-inker I don't really believe in is re-inkers for a watermark pad or an embossing pad. I think you're just better off replacing it because it's such like a sticky liquid. I just feel like it's going to end up being messy, and I would rather just not. All right, so we're going to do 2 impressions, and then let's grab some tweezers. And let's grab a piece of scrap cardstock off to the side. Oop, nope, not the magnets. Go away, Mr. Magnet. All right, and then I'm going to use some white emboss, just like this. Tap off the excess, just like this. Called in the middle of the... Oh, that's hysterical. I hit answers, have declined, and up and Catherine, I love that. That's... you know what? One of these days, because every once in a while my mom will call during a live, and I'm like, one of these days I'm going to answer. I'm going to say, Mom, you're on camera. Say hi. And just see what happens. All right, so let's go in. I'm going to emboss this from underneath. Oh, Florna, thank you so much. We're just going to kind of go in just like this. What's the best is, so not trying to get sappy. We have one dog right now. We used to have two. We said goodbye to my Duke last year. And oh my God, that boy. Anytime that doorbell rang, he was barking. So, I mean, he's probably just laughing right now. Oh my goodness. I could only imagine if he was here. He'd probably still be woofing. Just kind of go in. Just like this. All right, that's pretty good. A little bit of setting over here. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of wave this just to make sure it's nice and dry. Not going to move around on us too much. And then once it's pretty set, we're going to go in and just sort of take our excess powder off, and I need to do a little bit of touch up with a gel pen. That's the wonderful thing about using white embossing powder, is that you can always easily touch it up. So just like that. Okay. So now what I want to do is I'm going to do this happy birthday, but I'm not 100% sold that this is just what I want. I think we need a little bit more. And I think what we need is, I think we need some 16 candles cardstock. So I'm going to go in with the 16 candles cardstock, and we're going to die cut out the next largest square from the Noughts and Crosses Nested Die Set. And we're just going to kind of layer them, because we need a little bit of purple, right? Purple didn't get its moment. So we're going to do some purple. I love the 16 candles cardstock. I love that Catherine Pooler now has colored cardstock that coordinates with their ink line. Just, oh my goodness. And I'm also talking myself through trying to figure out where I put my scissors. And we don't know. So we're just going to use small scissors for right now. 3 left. Okay, so you guys only have 3 of them left. So if you didn't grab yours yet, make sure to. And then if they do sell out, I'm sure there's a notify me function you can sign up for. I think it helps not to over emboss. Catherine, what by over emboss do you mean, like stamp it out too many times with your embossing ink? Because I do find that you don't want to do that. And the reason I don't stamp too much with my ink pad, I try to keep it maybe twice as most, is because then when you kind of smush it down, the ink can kind of spread out. And especially when you're working with finer details, it can kind of get more like smudgy. And I don't like that. I like them to look exactly how the stamp looks. And so if you'll stamp it out less, it's less of a problem. All right, so this does kind of cover up some of the birds, but not that bad. I think that's adorable. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to, or do I need to? No, we're going to keep it at that. I like that. So I'm going to adhere this down just like this. Just like that. Right onto our cardstock. Try to center it as best I can, kind of off-centered. And then what we're also going to do is, where are my foam strips? We're going to prop up this last layer. Use my little scissors. All right. There you go. Your cardstock can heat. It definitely can warp by doing it too much. That definitely helps. Thank you, Catherine. That's true too, Catherine. If you use your embossing powder and if you apply heat for too long, it can sort of start to the best way I can describe from what I've seen is it sort of turns like slightly more translucent, like a little bit more melty. And you don't want that. You want it to be the color of your powder. So once your embossing powder starts to hit that initial melt and is set into place, you kind of want to move your heat gun on and not keep applying. So you're definitely right on with that. All right, we're going to remove our foam tape. These are 3mm foam strips from scrapbook.com. Perfect. And then, let's see. I'm going to kind of off-center this just like that. Realizing one little circle didn't make its way through, and that's okay. So we've got this all ready to go. And I'm going to do a little bit of embellishment. So I'm going to use some Crater Lake sequins, which have been like a go-to of mine recently. Chances are you've seen me use these during a live stream recently because I love this sequin mix. So we're going to go in, let me see. Here we go. We'll use this pick and poke tool. And I love the Crater Lake mix because you don't have to worry about it. Works with any color. It really, truly does. Like if you're working with just like neutrals, it'll work. If you're working with all warm tones, it'll work. Cool tones, it'll work. Rainbows, it'll work. But basically what I'm getting at, you're working with it, it'll work. All the things. All right. It's just sort of like that. Perfect. All right, so we've got this first card done, and we're going to set this off to dry, and then we'll put it on a card base at the end. But isn't this super cute? I love all of the little elements for this card. I love our little birds in the background. I love that even though I did cover some of them up, and I know we spent a lot of time with that, you can still see all of the colors, and we also covered up my little blemishes that I made, which makes me very happy. Very, very happy. Doesn't it pop a little bit more? You can just see your sentiment. I love that it's offset. It's super colorful. I know whoever gets this card is going to love it. So I'm going to set that off just so it can dry a little bit. We're going to do a little bit of cleanup, and then we're going to jump into card number 2. And we're going to still use the leftover of the Birds and Blooms stamp pattern that we did. But we can put I should probably clean my sentiment real quickly. But we're going to make a thank you card next. And our thank you card is going to be just sort of a continuation of the colors that we've done. I've really found that these tools work well to make like collections of different cards. And I'm just realizing I left my cards that I had made using everything. They're over on my kitchen table right now, so I don't have them readily available. But we'll see. We'll see what I can come up with. All right, so let's put this all away. Ooh, and I think we need a water break. All right. Good morning, Jackie. All right. Let's go on to card number 2. So for card number 2, I want to still use these birds. And what I'm going to do is I am going to take my guillotine trimmer and I am going to trim this panel because I have an idea. I don't officially know how it's going to work, but I think we'll be okay. So we're going to trim that. And then we're going to go in and trim that. Maybe we need to trim a little bit more. We're just going to kind of keep working with this until I get the amount that I want trimmed. Let's go in. You know what? That's pretty good. So we've got this strip of birds, and I want to use this for this card, and we're going to go back to utilizing our different colors that we've been working with. So what I'm going to start with is I need to make sure that this is trimmed to be 5 inches total. So I'm going to go in. This is currently not 5 inches. So let's trim it like that. And trim it. There we go. All right, so we've got a strip going. Now I'm going somewhere with this. And what I need to do is I need to have more cardstock. Just like this. We're going somewhere. So what I'm going to do for my layout is I need this one piece, and I also need a second piece of 16 candles. And this piece needs to be, what does this need to be? I'm trying to think. See, when you don't take your measurements, I'm just sitting here, I'm like, wait a minute. This needs to be a half an inch shy or on each edge. So this has got to be 3 3/4 by 5 inches. Like this. And we're going to do, oh yes, this is going to work. I know it's going to work. All right. So we are going to adhere this layer directly like this. Do not fall on me, sir. So I'm going to take some liquid adhesive, and these are going to match up. We're just going to kind of layer this next to each other. Part of me wonders if I should do it so there's still a little bit of a stripe. I kind of love that. Yeah, we're going to leave a little bit of a stripe. And I need to make sure that this is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And then we're going to mat this just on here like this. Oh, I know it hurts, but you know what? We really used almost all of them. There's not that much scrap left over, and that makes me so happy. So we're going to go in, and we're going to adhere this like here, and this gives this perfect purple border. Oh my god, my goodness, I love this. So cute. It's like 1/4 of an inch all the way around. Just like that. Okay. And now what I'm going to do is I have die cut. This is the Folk Alphabet Thinlit dies, and we're going to use this, and I have them die cut to spell out the word thanks. Also, look, we barely have any bird scraps. I know I tossed a very small amount, but we used most of this paper. That makes me very happy. So what we're going to do is I've got these Thinlit dies. I just kind of got to go through, though, and poke out the inside bits of them. So I'm just going to kind of do that on camera really quick. I don't know about y'all. I'm a sucker for a good alpha die set, especially for something I don't already have. And these folk letters fit the bill for that. Like, they are one of my favorite parts from this release with Catherine Pooler and Sizzix. Just so cute. So I'm just going to kind of keep popping these out. And see, my fingers are not like super tactile. Like, I kind of got to really go down and grab things. Oop, we got to pop that out. And I'm using a stack and sort tray. This is by scrapbook.com. And I use them for all of my organizing, really. They're wonderful. All right. One more. Pop, pop. Perfect. Okay. I'm going to toss my little trash. Put that away. And I don't need that right now. Okay, wonderful. So what I'm going to do with this now, a little rule of thumb is I was kind of struggling, like particularly with like the H, about does the H go with the little die cut on the left or with it on the right? And now that I'm visually looking at it, I can tell a little bit more. But from what I have found, and I will grab the die set to show you better, all of the designs are on the left side of the letters, unless it's a letter where that doesn't have like a side. Like for example, an I doesn't really have a side. M, C all the way on the side, L on the side. So it makes it a little bit easier to guess where everything should get placed, specifically when working with like an H. I think everyone needs alpha and number dies, at least one set. Liz, I have way more than one set. Oh my goodness. So now what I do with my die cuts for letters is I like to use the grid lines on my glass mat. This one, like I said, is from Glassboard Studio. Just kind of, like this. Is that right? Yeah, that's about the same no matter which way I put it. I always worry with S's too, because I feel like S's should be like an even letter that no matter what way you put it, it should be correct. But sometimes that is not the case. Not all S's are created equal. And next what I'm going to do is take a piece of mint tape and kind of lock them all into place and then pick them up together, just like that. And now what I can do is use some liquid adhesive on the back. And actually, I'm going to clean this real quick. There we go. Liz has multiple sets. Absolutely, right? We got to have our multiples. So we're going to go in just like this. Just sort of okay, keep going in. Awesome. Just kind of tap a little bit of that off. And then I am going to take these letters and line them up. Let's see how we can do this. I do want them off-centered. All right. I'm going to have to nudge that S a little bit, but that's okay. Use a straight edge like a... Oh, no, not that. And pull up your tape. Just like that. And I got to kind of nudge my S just a little bit, but otherwise we should be pretty good. And then we have just this really sweet thanks card. Oh, isn't that cute? I think this is adorable. Now we just got to pop them on some card bases. So I do have one prepared that I saw. So we're going to pop this one on. Just like that. And we'll add a couple sequins. And then I got to prepare one other card base. And that's okay. Except I don't know where I put my... There it is. I'll grab it real quick off camera. So we've got this on a card base. Press it down. Isn't it cute? It's just a really easy thank you card. And I love having the sentiment go vertical like that. I just think it's a fun way that adds like a little bit of a whimsical element to it. So let's go in. Let's add a couple Crater Lake sequins. Let's see. What are we going to do? Well, one of the bigger ones, of course. Just like that. And then just like that. Awesome. That should be something smaller or flatter. What can we do? There we go. Perfect. All right. We are almost there, y'all. We just got to do a card base really quick, and then we can kind of recap everything we did with each other. It is different, Liz. It's a little whimsical. It's just, I wanted to kind of have fun and use some of the new products. And my main reason that I took the sentiment and made it vertical like this was because I knew my birds, I couldn't make a card like this. The birds would look too funny. They look like they were like diving and whatnot. And I wasn't going for that. But if you could find a way to make these like little penguins, that would be adorable. So I figured, I'm like, well, let's keep the birds in the direction they're supposed to go. And let's make the sentiment like the different part. And so I just thought having it like that was different and fun, you know? I don't know. Will there be a number set to go with the alpha set? I don't know, Catherine. I wouldn't have the information with that. You never know, but I can't make any promises. Let's do a card base really quickly. Grab this and this. And I gotta grab my card paper for my card bases. Awesome. All right, we're gonna put this to the side. Let's see, let's go in. Score that. Thank you, Kat. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Catherine. Oh, you do have numbers for this one? Okay, Catherine says we do have numbers. I did not know that. I am so sorry. I need to become a little bit better informed. All right, so we've got our scoring part all done. And then we'll just cut it in half. You know what? If this is the one thing I forgot to do during the live today was to make an extra card base, there are far worse things I've done during a live. So yay us. All right. Let's go in. Let's reinforce those edges. I don't have the link. I could look at adding it later, Catherine. I am so sorry. Okay, let's go in and let's add some liquid adhesive to our first card. Alrighty. Oh, that's so exciting, Liz. It would definitely be fun for a graduation card. And thank you for the forgiveness, Catherine. Oh my goodness, yes. I just got to keep a better track of them. I should have looked in advance, and I will next time. All right, so that being said, let me reinforce the side for this card. I think we're all done. We have our two cards using the new print and pattern tool all completed and ready to go. And oh my goodness, you guys, I am loving these. They are so colorful. They have so much personality. I love that we've added the two kind of quintessential cards that you need in your stash to our stash. So we've got an extra birthday card and an extra thank you card. Let's just sort of recap what we did today. So we used the new print and pattern tool that goes with the stamp and stencil tool to make our little birdie backgrounds. And we used not 24, only 15 colors to get everything all stamped out. So we utilized, that was from the, I know it's Birds and Blooms or it's Blooms and Birds. It's the new birdie set, the new bird stamp set that now is off my desk and off to the side. But I've got it linked down below. We've used the birthday sentiments for our one card with the Noughts Crosses Nested Die Set. And then for this card, we use the folk alphabet set to turn it into a little bit of a thank you card. Now, of course, we did have to pull in some Catherine Pooler colored cardstock as well. So we've got 16 candles and Glam cardstock all ready to go, along with using what was kind of like the key cardstock is the favorite white cardstock. I think these are just so fun, and I had such a good time playing around with these. I'm going to go ahead. Let's switch back to my face for a second. All right, there we go. You guys, these two cards, oh my goodness, look how cute they are. I am just adoring them. I think they're super fun. They're packed with color. And we did it all live. And that makes me so happy that we did this together today. I know some people said that the print and pattern tool looks a little exact and takes a little bit of time. And you know what? always take into account that when I do something live, it's going to take me longer than it's going to take you. And this is definitely a tool you're going to want to play with to make sure that you're figuring out how it's going to work best for you. If I wasn't doing this on camera, my whole sort of like 2 ink stamp over 4, it would work perfectly and it would go really quickly. So it's a really, really fun tool, and I cannot wait to see what you guys make with it. As Catherine said, there are only 2 of them left for the Catherine Pooler website. I do have them linked down below. I do have all of the products used today linked down below as well, along with some different options, because I know some of them are out of stock on the Catherine Pooler website. You can use those links to set a notification for when they're ready, or I do have them linked. I believe some of them can be found at scrapbook.com as well. Last but not least, let's talk about sort of my upcoming schedule of things. I will be going live next weekend. I want to say it's going to be at 10 a.m. again, but I'm not 100% certain at this moment. I am teaching a card class next Saturday, and I'm trying to figure out when it works to have done best, but I will post when I'll be going live. So I hope to see you guys there. I'll be playing with a brand new release. It's one of my favorite releases I think I've seen this year. So definitely, definitely tune in and stay tuned with that. I have more inspiration using cards that use this print and pattern tool, both on my Instagram and on my blog. So make sure to check that out as well. I'll get everything uploaded and converted for our live stream today so that you guys can watch the replay, whatever it may be. And if you ever have any questions, just let me know. I am so, so very thankful for everyone who stopped by today. I had a wonderful time. I've been loving these live streams. I think this is my 10th live stream that we've done since I started this year. So what a way to reach number 10. And I can't wait to see where else we go with these. Thank you all once again. I hope you guys are having a wonderful International Scrapbooking Day. Also wanted to plug, if you are looking for more live stream inspiration today, the Scrapbooking Cards Today YouTube channel is doing essentially a full day of scrapbook inspiration to celebrate. Some of our very talented designers on the creative team are going to be over there, and they're going to be giving you some demonstrations, and you can also catch some replays as well. So if you want to keep on having fun with live streams today, head over there, have some fun with Scrapbooking Cards Today, and then I hope to see you guys back on my channel next weekend. Thank you all. I hope you have a wonderful crafty Saturday. I thank you again for stopping by. Thank you, everyone, and we'll see you real soon. Goodbye.